Hello, I have some serious bedhead because my hair is actually getting kind of long. I wanted to do a little bit of an introduction to the video that I'm going to actually be like posting this for. I took a video yesterday. I was in a public park, so my thoughts and my ability to like speak clearly was just like I had also walked a lot yesterday with a very heavy backpack. So I was a little bit out of it. Some points are really clear, but I did want to elaborate on a couple of things a little bit more before I roll the tape. Um uh oh okay, sorry. I just woke up. Ignore my raspiness. This is my mom's like little calendar that she flipped every day, and so I flip it most days, just because sometimes I'm bad about remembering. But today is: you will be blessed when you hope, you will be blessed when you trust, you will be blessed when you cast all your cares on the Lord. My mom was like both a psychic witch, but she had a lot of ties to Christianity, which is cool. I think faith can look a million and one ways, so we don't judge over here. But yeah, that's anyways. There is a piece of writing I want to start off reading. So this video I talked a lot about dreaming and realizing that a lot of what is between me and the life that I wanted to live is realizing that I am currently living in several pieces, like several different aspects of what was once a faraway dream. And I did want to kind of express the nuance with that, just because we live in a goal-driven society, and I think something that I struggle with, so I can acknowledge, is like definitely just like a part of human nature in this world, is not being able to necessarily appreciate where we are at because we are so tunnel vision on where we want to be. And there are certain things now in my life that I can tangibly recognize are bigger steps in my life towards where I want to be or who I want to be. But most of the time it hasn't looked like that, and most of the time I haven't really been able to acknowledge that. That was kind of like, I've been in a really big kind of slump lately. And it is something that is hard to see. It's kind of like freeing myself from the shackles of my own perspective a little bit, to recognize that, you know, where I'm at now, pieces of my life now were parts of like what I thought was a faraway dream, you know, many years ago. And I think it is hard to not want to rush the process of things, and when you're goal driven and also kind of getting impatient in the what feels like stagnancy, we don't really recognize all of the little goals and steps that we're taking and making, to move into more of like an aligned life. So I don't want to discredit the fact that like a lot of times it does not look that way or feel that way. And I do think there are pieces of it that are true, you know, like there's only, I don't want to say only a few things, but to be able to really like say like I've made big steps, there's only like a few things in my life that are like huge steps, like big steps, you know, like a change of location to live. And like a lot of the video I did talk about just like smaller things, you know, like I had a vision of me looking a certain way and performing when I was a kid, and I just like did that, and I didn't really stop to think about like how cool that is, that like I had this vision since I was a kid and I got to actually like execute it. Was it in front of a crowd of millions of people, no, but it was still just like, I felt super cool. I had an awesome fit. Anyways, you'll hear me talk about that. I also read a poem in the video, but it was not the one that I was talking about initially. I ended up reading the one that I wrote yesterday, which was as incoherent as the rest of my thoughts yesterday. This one I do have like a revised version posted on my Instagram, my poetry Instagram, which is, hang on, let me see if I have the handle. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Hang on. Give me a second. Moon and Salt and Sea. That's my poetry Instagram if you want to go check it out. I don't go on there very often, but I will just like swoop by and drop off a poem every once in a while. And I have some really good poems on there, so I think I have a revised version of this one on there. I called it Life of Lives, and I wrote it a couple of months ago in the middle of the night. I was having a hard time sleeping, and I just wrote this whole thing. So, in the candlelight and the moonlight. It seems that the life I once lived is so far away from me, so disconnected, yet still so near, raw and unfathomable. Oh my gosh, that's so hard to say with... I'm sorry if you can like hear my... Anyways, each time I reflect on the pieces of myself still in many ways carved by those experiences, I wonder truly how or why exactly I am still alive. I wonder why the torturous memories that continue to haunt me were ever needed in my story. But as I grow distant, I try to trust in the depth that is slowly unveiling itself, unraveling through desperate cries, my caving-in chest, silent pleads within sobs for God to take me home. I am facing the split between the life of hurt that has created such deep hopelessness and the new path I may fight to forge from what I have learned within the chaos of it all. I slowly remember many past times, places, people, and feel so disconnected from who I was then, so separated from that poor young girl caught in the crossfire for so long she chose helplessness. At times, I still feel helpless, but as I grow beyond the hurt and the judgment, I find an ability to hear her. I ask her what she needs from the woman I am today, and she looks up at me with dark, dilated, and desperate eyes. She asks me to be nice to her. I look upon her sorrow and feel her heavy chest sink into mine. A fragment of her worries collapse in that moment, and I am forced to wonder if she is still within me. Her joy, her dreams, her innocence. The hardened shell of strength I have made seems endlessly detached from those qualities until I realize that I am her. I am now everything she wanted to be but couldn't. Through sleepless, restless nights of aching sobs, nightmares, I struggle to shake upon waking. I forget how to feel her joy, my joy, our joy. For the first time in my life, I am learning how to stand within true stability, learning how to trust. I've begun to recognize and deeply appreciate the love that she had always needed and is now surrounded by. Such a naively true blessing to be supported in following her dreams, my dreams, our dreams. The life she'd hoped for was as simple as it was a miracle. She'd hoped for a home, a loving partner, lots of animals and nature surrounding them. She'd maybe want a family someday. She'd want a life without pain or fear. She wanted to help people, to let them know that they are not alone, that they are loved in ways that she struggled to know. And of course, it would be unfair to neglect a 6-year-old's biggest dream to be a pop star. I grow older within this life of many lives, and those dreams do not escape me. For many years, I had loathed and tried to silence those hopes. I tried to make some semblance of peace within a life that I felt so bound to. Yet as I sit here tonight in my stiffness and my sorrow, I dare to dream again. There is nothing I can lose that I haven't lost already, and perhaps I should see that as the blessing of nothing holding me back. The things I'd wanted mostly tied to the lost girl somewhere between 6 and 24. The girl who let the discontent of life overshadow the discontent of her unmet dreams. Now no mask binds the little girl who fearfully and awfully gazes at mountainous horizons. She returns to me upon my recent assumption that there is no more reason for hope. She screams within me to open my eyes and see that all that we have done after all that we have been through. I haven't read that poem in a while, and like I said, I did like end up revising it a little bit. But that was the original raw poem that I wrote, and I actually am glad that I circled back. The second half of the video that I'm gonna include in here, again, is like a little bit more scattered. I think it's a good message. There's some tangents and some distractions and everything, lots of animals. But I didn't, this morning I woke up and I realized like I didn't want to just post that video by itself. I felt like it would be a little bit of doing a disservice to not acknowledge the fact that the majority of the time it doesn't really feel that way. Like, I can continue to push towards believing in my dreams and wanting to pursue my dreams and recognize and be grateful for all of the ways that I am living the dream that I once had. But a lot of times it doesn't feel that way. And a lot of times it takes the really, really hard moments to be able to recognize that after the fact. And I just didn't want to feel like within that message of a moment where I was feeling, I mean, I talked a little bit about being like struggling with some of it, but I didn't want to neglect the fact that a lot of times it just doesn't feel that way and it doesn't look that way. But I think gratitude is a skill to practice, and it's really, really hard. And same thing with like anything, feeling empowered, feeling hopeful, and finding a faith in everything are skills that I catch myself having to turn to at times, and it doesn't feel good because what I'm conditioned to, what is normal for me, is this heavier stuff. And I did talk about that a little bit in my last video on this channel, just like letting myself feel good, but it is sometimes like an effort that I have to make, and it's really hard to want to make that effort when I do just want to like sink into my sulking and my sadness, because it's what I know. I've unfortunately in many ways kind of made a home in that, and I'm trying now to take the pieces and the lessons that I've learned from that and some of the good qualities of that and translate it into a life that is more aligned for me. And there was a time in my life where I was able to have this, my mental health was much like more stable and doing really well because I was focusing on gratitude, but it was something that happened kind of slowly, and it did not feel very good until one day I realized like, oh, my sight is just kind of more directed towards these things. And that's been something that's been even harder to find though, since everything that happened with losing my mom. I've struggled to find footing in that again, and I think that that's okay too, because that was also a big time in my life to face a lot of feelings that had not been fully met. And maybe I didn't need to before, but I definitely felt like in order to have a better idea of where I wanted to go in my life, there were a lot of pieces of myself in those feelings and emotions that I needed to meet and face. So yeah, I'm gonna go now. my throat hurts. I'm gonna try to write some music today. I'm gonna insert the second clip, and I look like such a dork in the best way. I love it. The camera's like down here because I'm in a park and I was trying to be low-key, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, enjoy what she has to say. One of the biggest things I've struggled with in my life is to pause and appreciate where I am. And I think most of my life, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to feel like I am where I want to be in life. But most of my life I've just lived hoping that there's a moment where I've found everything that fulfills me and live exactly how I want to and as the person that I am. And then I can be proud, and then I can feel like I've accomplished something. And one of the biggest goals that I've had my entire life is to live in the mountains. Like, And I do now. I do. I live kind of in the mountains. I live surrounded by mountains. The past few years, I want to go out west since like 20 teens. I want to go out west. I want to travel out west. I want to see out west. I want to be out west. And I've done it. I've managed to get here now. Out real far west. I've never been out this far. And writing music, that's pretty cool. And I'm like thinking about all these things that would have made me feel so proud as a child. Writing music, believing that I can succeed in music, wanting to help people and wanting to find new ways to help people, unconventional thinking. I wore this really cool outfit for my last open mic, and I had my hair like slicked back like this, and I used to have this vision when I was a kid that I'd be like have my hair slicked back and wearing like a nice, like a really cool tailored suit, like super androgynous look. And I kind of had that going on in my last open mic, and that was pretty cool. I loved the fit. And yeah, I struggle to feel like I can lead with my heart. And I'm realizing that one of the biggest pieces that comes with leading with your heart is not just to have faith, not just to intellectualize everything in some attempt for control or certainty, but to dream and to feel like I can dream. Because everything that I see for my life, that I hope for my life, is like nothing that I've seen before. It's like nothing that I thought would be possible for me, and I still struggle with feeling like it could be possible for me. And I'm realizing, you know, I keep praying about what the next step for me to take is, and I'm realizing in a lot of ways I'm already in this life that I've dreamed about for so long, and the same dreaming that it took for me to get here is something I'm struggling with to imagine can take me further. And I struggle with not feeling discouraged. There's a deer up there. Oh, that's a buck. I can't flip the camera around. He's pretty far up there anyways, in the woods. I saw 3 deer not too long ago, and when I was coming into this park, I saw a white rabbit, which is so crazy. I'm gonna go look up what that means. I also had a dream that there was like this really big black widow, like huge black widow, in a web, and then all of a sudden it like started changing colors and it turned into an atlas moth, like a huge atlas moth. Still don't know what that means. Anyways, I'm just trying to let myself believe that all these things that I'm living now were once dreams that I had. And I feel like I'm struggling with, there's so much more that I dream about and hope for that hasn't happened yet. And there's people over there. How do I let myself believe that I'm in something that was once a faraway dream? This is now my reality, and I'm struggling to feel connected because I'm still just so focused on forward motion and go, but I really haven't stopped to let myself believe that I am in a life that was once a far away dream. And I think not seeing past, but not letting the pain of what has been control the narrative in this reality is something that I'm struggling with. How do I feel empowered by the things that I've been through? Well, to start to give myself the chance to feel empowered. I have to push myself a little bit. It's completely foreign, and my deer's walking past me. Oh, there's more. There's so many more. There's so many deer. Can you see? I hope you can see that. That was the buck. He's like following behind. Oh, there's another one. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. But I wrote a poem a while ago about I dare to dream again, and I feel like the only thing between me and the life that I'm living, that I want to live, is realizing that I am currently in a reality that was once a faraway dream. It was a goal. It felt impossible, and I'm here. And can I, to some extent, cling on to that hope and that belief in that dream to see where it can take me without feeling like I can't just enjoy this and now in this moment, and that getting here did not require analyzing and certainty. It just required a dream. When my partner and I decided to move out west, we left with a van we got on Marketplace, a Toyota though, reliable, and a couple $1,000s. And right when we left, we had car troubles and had to put a significant amount of our money into making sure the van would run. And we just kept telling ourselves, there's somewhere we gotta be, we can do this, we can go. And it has been kind of incredibly messy at times. Very unconventional life. But now all of a sudden we're in a nicer place than we've ever lived. We're surrounded by mountains. We're able to start making connections with the types of fun and creativity that we love and are passionate about. And it's been something that I feel like my judgment or my perspective has been so clouded by feeling... Hang on. Okay, there were people that walked behind me. That's okay. I just don't want to... It's hard for me to speak about this stuff with people around and make sure no one else is coming. Okay, great. I did have a second to pull out a journal, which, by the way, I collaged old National Geographics onto my journal. This one says, in the end, the American Revolution will be to seek connection and to conserve love. I couldn't even read what I wrote. Look at this. Isn't this so sick? I'm gonna start doing it to all my journals because I have photographic memory, so I can remember like any fraction of writing that I've done in any journal, because they all like look different. But these were like 69 cents, so I got like 5 of them, and they all look exactly the same. So I thought, what a great use of my magazines to collage it. It looks so cool. Anyways, first thing I wrote in here, and it's not really done. It is kind of not that coherent because words are escaping me, and I have been I've been seriously procrastinating using my voice lately, just like talking, singing, anything. I just don't want to do it. It feels like it takes so much, I don't want to say insecurity, but discouragement that I've been feeling here in my body. Just takes like so much surpassing of that to be able to use my voice. So this is not the most coherent, but how do I embrace freedom when I am in denial that I am even free? There has never been a year in my life where I was allowed to dream I didn't play make-believe long enough to remember my innocence. I fear that that severed gap is why I still cannot attain a feeling of wholeness. I still drift separated in critiquing of my humanness, humanity, from outside of my body, floating and always watching, always processing the choices and the actions that actions, period, I tried to speak, but I try to speak before I begin to hover again. Again, this was not the most coherent writing piece ever. This voice, this body, was never mine until now, and so the question I refuse to ask is, what if I am already living? What if I am the creator of destiny, of life, and I just don't know how to accept it? Accepting this path means I can no longer cling to what held me back. I cannot let my acknowledgement of my struggle overshadow the acknowledgement of faith I have found. I dreamed to speak it into reality, but yet here in this reality I dared to speak at all. I dare to dance, to live, to breathe, to be seen or to be heard. I dare to dream in the same dream that has carried me here and now. I dare to dream the same dream that has carried me here and now. I have made it. I am in a new life, and all expressions of creation, voice, and prayer have shifted. I dare to be proud of myself, but if not now, then when? The threshold I seek is here and now. It is the ground I am walking upon. I fear gazing down to see that I am enough. I am only too much for the things that were holding me back. I cling to what I have known, and that is the core of my humanity. I dream of inspiration and change, so I cling because I believe the pillars of faith, grace, and personal truth I have found in myself show limitless potential in all of humanity. I am freed by all that I have lost. I am free to dream and express this chance for change. The world I have created within my own being is the same mirror that I hope to reflect on humanity. This grace I have given is all one and the same. The things that I fear desire to release me, so the answer in my heart returns to me. My heart screams for me to return to the dreamer, the state of youth that allowed me to once live. I dream, but it is so foreign that I can hardly see this has been the missing piece. And then for whatever reason, I skipped like 4 pages in the journal, and then this is the last part, so I don't know if it even goes along with it. What if this is the life I dreamed of, the woman that I'd hoped to be, and my distance is only the pain? This lens of fear that I cannot strip is somehow only the fear I have to step into this life. I fear that I am whole, that I am ready. I'm gonna end it. I'll see you later. Dare to dream, dare to live.